Hello and welcome to another edition of the RotorHub International Podcast. And that's hosted by me, Gideon Ewers, the editor of RotorHub International. Joining me today is Joseba Mendizabal. I probably got that wrong, but I do my best. Joseba is Joseba is a lieutenant with the Basque Police and pilot and one of their instructors. Joseba, thank you very much for spending the time with us today and joining us. You know, it's an interesting thing, isn't it? When you think about certain regions where there might be challenges, and you think about the north of Spain in the Basque country and the mountains and the temperatures and stuff. Give me a flavor of what your mission profile looks like there.
Yes, first of all, thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure, it's an honor for me to be part of that episode. Thank you so much, Gideon. And let me apologize in advance for my English, for the people that will listen to the podcast. I'll try to do my best with my English.
We're all friends together.
The Spanish helicopter services are sometimes quite confusing because we have the military, obviously, that used to work for search and rescue. They still have some missions there, depending on the profile of the mission, especially in the Canary Islands. We also have two federal police agencies, like the National Police and the Guardia Civil, which is a kind of the gendarmerie. And apart from that, there are some, in Germany, it would be like Länder police forces. And in the States, it would be like a state police. And so the police that take parts of a state or it's of a community. The Basque is one of the traditional ones. The Basque Police was founded now, it's going to be 90 years ago with the starting of the Civil War. And also the Catalonia Police, they also have a police force similar to ours. But very few people know that we were the first helicopter service. The Basque Police started back in 1981. And in 1986, we started the helicopter operations, and we were the first ones in Spain, apart from the military, working, for example, on sea rescue 24 hours a day. So we were pioneers. Now the history is, you know that history sometimes you get lost through the pages, but we were the first ones doing that, and also developing police missions. At the beginning, the Basque Police started working following the UK model. We had a company giving maintenance engineers and pilots, and the police was giving the TFOs, the rescue people, mountain rescue, sea rescue, and the TFO, the camera operators. And then from that model, there was a transition, and we started having sworn officers as pilots. And there was many years when we had both working at the same time. You can have a crew with civil pilots from the company that was giving the service, and also police officers. And some years ago, they decided to change to a complete police force. So we are.
What was the thinking behind that? Because, you know, as I say, I suppose, like everyone, they think, oh, we're hiring the contractors to supply the technicians, engineers, and pilots, aircraft. But the decision to say, actually, we want to have our own. We want to have, our own police officers flying the aircraft, acting as, the whole package. What do you think drove that decision to move to that, in-house solution?
There was a big struggle between the two kinds of perspective on that. And at the end, the sworn police won, because there were those years back in 1988, 89, ETA was very strong. The terrorism here was like in Northern Ireland, very, very strong. So for some missions involving our SWAT teams, involving bomb attacks and those kinds of things, some civil pilots were not willing to accept it as a part of the civil pilot job, like a rescue mission. And for us, it was also like, and I agree with that, being able to show and to demonstrate that you have a police force that can take the missions, the specialized missions.
Hmm.
So for us, it's like, for example, if you have your own EOD or explosive technicians, or if you have your own CSI, all those crime scene, all with the laboratory forensics. If you have those people, sworn officers, it's like showing you are a real police force capable of having your people. Because sometimes there was also a thinking, I don't know if that happens in the UK, but sometimes there's been a thinking that the police officers are too silly and you need people from outside to do the specialized jobs. It's like, oh, you can't give a helicopter to a cop. You can't give a helicopter to a cop. You can only give them a gun, and sometimes not even a gun. So because they are not, and we have, I think like in the continent in Europe, the big police forces are flying with sworn officers.
Hmm.
The Gendarmerie, Guardia Civil in Spain, National Police, Dutch unit, in Belgium the same, Germany. So I support obviously
That thinking,
the
yeah. I suppose it
yeah.
is element where, even those historic things of terrorist, operations in the 70s and 80s and into the 90s of, you mentioned ETA, there's the IRA, there's Baader Meinhof and all those people. And it's easy sometimes, I think, to forget that those sort of things existed and could come in another form some other time. You see it actually there was in the UK there was a story on the news just the other night, and it was an interception of a dissident IRA group who'd taken been caught taking a bomb across the border from the south of Ireland to the north, and I thought, God, this is incredible. Here's a major heat wave in the UK. The IRA are shifting bombs across the border. It's like 1976 all over again. It's that thing, that evolution of being that preparedness, I suppose, of having, as you say, an effective force that is in it is police people, police professionals capable to respond to that requirement.
Yes, from my point of view, you have many reasons because when you have your own crews, you can, if you treat them good, you will have them almost forever. In
Hmm.
in the civil war, there are many changes because now you are flying with the police, and then you change to the North Sea to fly for the oil industry, whatever. And being part of the police force is being part of the family, so you feel more involved, and you can be as a good pilot as anyone else. What you say about the terrorism threats, if we take a close look in the free world, for example, in Europe, we are facing the same problems. Globalized crime, international gangs, people traveling from Spain to Austria dealing with drugs, all the terrorism activities relation to extremist immigration from extremism Muslim groups. And also, for example, in southern Spain, the Guardia Civil has realized that in southern Spain, they have Ukrainian mercenaries teaching criminals how to fly drones with drugs. So there's a globalized crime. Everything is globalized.
Hmm.
Everything. It's no more. And even apart from that, we were at Babcom, and I had the chance to talk with police officers and crews from Northern Ireland, and we saw videos. It's like reactivating riots, more riots on the streets. The same in the Basque Country, the same in Spain. It's like something related to the old ETA, for example, but with bigger influence or bigger relations with communist groups operating, extreme left parties operating across Europe, trying to subvert the public order, very with a lot of money, crossing from France, going to Italy. So I think we are facing. I went to an event. It was a UAV event from all the important people, all the important forces in Spain, and it's the first time that I heard senior officers from different departments saying that maybe it's going to be the first time that we have to tell the truth to each other, because sometimes that some agencies don't tell about their investigations to the other
Hmm.
agency because maybe you are going to take my job. But we are facing such a high level of specialized crime traveling so fast that we need a global response. So it's everything is back.
So yeah, I mean, so that's kind of an interesting thing, and let's pursue that a little bit because when you talk about you know crime is global, right? And certainly in the European case, borders are non-existent, and especially in the Schengen zone anyway. But it's transportable. Just this group goes to here, to there, everywhere. So there is this idea of how is there a way to create some kind of pan-European response or coordination? I mean, I know there are mechanisms like Interpol and so on, but are they effective enough? Is there a need for something else that makes that cohesion work a little better, perhaps? I don't know.
Yeah, we are a small force. We are 8,000 officers, and we are covering just the Basque Country. But the Basque Country, we have a part of the border with France, so we know a little bit about that. On the other hand, you can see how the Dutch police and the German police they have agreements so that one of their helicopters can chase and cross the borders,
across the
chasing
border.
because the intelligence shows how bands coming from France they cross Germany in the autobahns very
Mm,
fast. They go to the Netherlands. They start with robberies or whatever kind of or criminal activities. They go back to France, driving fast cars, and then they come to southern Spain. They change their money. You see, having Ukrainian mercenaries in southern Spain is just a sign of how gangs and specialist people and criminals are traveling so fast and without control, and they are everywhere. And
yeah.
it's very easy for them because they don't need to respect any kind of law or any kind of issue. So
They go where
and
they
the
want.
justice in Europe is a little bit relaxed. So there's not real punishment for those hard people.
Sure.
You and me could get in trouble driving too fast in the city, or maybe driving after going to a pub. But for those criminals, the law is
The law
quite
is a
relaxed.
translucent thing, yeah. So let's just think back. I'm just going to tack back a little bit to one of the points you raised about bringing the recruitment or bringing the pilot group specifically in-house into the force. And you talked about things like esprit de corps and those intransigents, part of being part of the family, being committed to the role of the job of law enforcement. When you recruit, do you take your TFOs and then make them, if they want to make them into pilots? Is that training covered within the police force, or do they have to finance their own training?
We are facing a recruitment problem specifically for pilots because we had the first police sworn pilots selected in a small group. Then there was a course offer for 10 police officers. So the police force paid for that course. And then we had 10 sworn police officers working as pilots. And I was the first one of a group that I paid for myself. I paid my training as a pilot. But once I was a policeman, I paid for my training and then I joined the
Mhm.
unit. So we have people that pay for the training because they love flying, they like helicopters, and then once they are pilot, we hire them inside the force. And
Mhm.
for the TFOs, we have our own TFOs, and the recruitment includes for those TFOs having experience and having a kind of a degree, technical degree in mountain or sea rescue.
Sure.
Yeah, most of our missions are mountain rescue because the Basque Country is 85% of the country is mountain.
Yeah.
It's not it's not high peaks, it's not big mountains, but it's a lot of mountain. We have strong winds, especially the southern wind, a lot of turbulence, a lot of threats, everything. So as we work a lot, our main mission is mountain rescue. We make a selection among the mountain rescue or the divers rescue group, and then we have our in-house training. And it's not easy, but we like to have, because I think all of us need to have sometimes people coming from outside another company, another force, and giving a look at what you do, because otherwise if we always, I train you, you train me,
It's
we
yeah,
we always have,
perpetuating.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and you're not able to realize how is your deviation from the correct line. So having people from outside putting all of us back to zero again is very important.
sure. Yeah, that sort of normalization of deviation is
Yeah, that I was not sure how to say it in English, but
yeah, but
that's
that's yeah,
expression.
yeah. I
Sorry.
knew what you meant though, right? But it is. It's a threat that it's a sneak what I call a sneaky threat. Because of the way it develops. It's extraordinary that when you look through study with accidents, the number of times where something like that, normalization of deviance is a factor in it. It's like what are the dangerous sayings in aviation? It's not exactly SOPs, but watch this.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it
that
is
sort of
indeed.
thing, and it's getting that back and that realignment back to this. This
Yeah,
is the procedure. This is
back to basics.
yeah. It's all that reset. Just wanted to touch on something else because I know where time is creeping on us, and there's something we talked about a little bit before, and it's about this idea. We talked the nature of crime has changed to this international globalist way that, and the systems aren't set up to sort of react to that as quickly as the criminals evolve, I guess. Now, one of the things we talked about was also we chatted about the use of an association. We were saying that yeah, they seem to be a much more popular thing in the United States. I've just come and you're a member of the APSA, and I've just come back from ABSCOM, which is a pretty big event, and all of those things, and we don't seem to have that same kind of collegial type associations in Europe. I wonder why. You have some thoughts on why that might be?
I think that the number one is that the police activity and the police missions and the police agencies in the state is a different culture. The way they feel, they are proud of the colors, the way that even the society looks at them. I mean, we have all grown with U.S. cops movies. It's a different way of feeling. This, I think they go the same for the army and the forces. And for whatever reason, maybe because they have a lot of work or they are more used to police missions or to strong police missions, I think that, and it's not good to have a high degree of violence, but it makes you feel more tightened to your colleagues. And in Europe, I think we are not the United States of Europe. We have never been. We have to be
Mhm.
honest at that point. So there are still frictions, there are still issues, even among the same country. Sometimes for us it's very difficult to get in touch with other Spanish forces because there's all those political aspects that make it difficult. And I think that fortunately we have not faced such a high degree of threat of terrorism. I mean, Europe has been for the last part of the 20th century has been a happy place to live. We were very proud to say that we didn't have all the shootings that they have in the US. So we didn't, I think that we didn't face the necessity or the reality except in places like Northern Ireland, like you said, Baden-Meinhof in Germany, or with the ETA in Spain, which was terrible. But I think now we are all facing the same dangers. And for example, when we get together at PubCon is a small event, but it's important. And if you talk to a pilot or to a TFO, I talk from Spain and I talk with an Austrian TFO or with a pilot from EMPAS or whatever from Italy, we are all speak the same language, especially because if you fly an EC-135, it's the same flight manual all around the world.
Mhm.
And an auto rotation in Dublin is the same as an auto rotation in Bilbao.
Yeah.
So we're speaking the same language, even far beyond the police issue. So, but we have to work on that. I think sometimes we are lazy. We don't want to spend our money, or maybe our police force do not realize the importance of sending people to those events. But I think and it's such a high degree of experience that you share with your colleagues. And you also become friends. I mean, sometimes it's more than that. You can. I'm sure you saw it in Abscon. It's
Sure.
more about getting people, and then there's another issue that you have a colleague and you can call because you have a friend and you can call him from your phone, and you have answers in 5 minutes. How do you
Yeah.
do this? How do you do that? Do you have that problem
Absolutely.
with that
Yeah.
tablet? Do you have that problem with that product? Which kind of software do you use for the whatever?
Hmm.
So I think we need it, and we have to reinforce that feeling. Difficult because it's a different way. In the United States, people is willing to pay a rate and to spend their money on that kind of conferences, associations. And Europe is really difficult.
So it is that cultural thing, and something that clearly it needs to change. The benefits are clear and obvious to people. You and I have attended these events and see those benefits. They're not a myth, and they're valuable for everybody. One of the things that has happened, though, of course, is the time has eroded, and just as always, we've hit the buffers on time. We could talk for another 2 or 3 hours, but
Sure.
the helicopter wouldn't get flown, and I wouldn't be able to get this edition off to the production guys for editing. So, Joseba, thank you very much for spending the time this morning
My pleasure.
and sharing your thoughts on what is an incredibly important subject. Really appreciate the time.
No, thank you very much, and I hope people will enjoy and understand what I say. Thank you very, very much. My pleasure. It's been an honor.
And that has been another edition of the RotorHub International Podcast. Join us again next time when we once again be examining everything vertical lift.